Hello, I'm Pam Carruthers of Healing Stars, and this is a chart of the Aries ingress, the spring equinox, and it's set for London, UK. And it's very interesting because in London, centre of London at that time, the ascendant is at 29 degrees 23 minutes of Aquarius. That's very late in a sign, which makes it very unstable. And Aquarius is the sign very much to do with the mind, it's to do with air, it's a fixed sign. So fixed ideas, fixed beliefs dominate the chart. Aquarius here, as a sign, is governed by Uranus. There's Uranus down there in the sign of Aries. Aries is rash. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's always a new beginning. It's springtime, of course. So it marks the season of change. Uranus is unpredictable. So already we have a quality in this chart for the UK of anything could happen because we're governed here by Uranus. But we're very closely moving into the energy of Pisces. And here we have three planets in Pisces. We have Neptune, the Moon, and Chiron. Here they are, all grouped together here on the left, which is the ascendant itself. Now, Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac and Aries is the first sign, mean we're kind of straggled for the next 3 months between endings, represented by Pisces, and beginnings, which is represented by Aries. Also, we're in the dark of a moon, which means that the moon is not visible in the sky. And the moon represents the public in a chart when you think about it set for a country. So although the leader, the sun, is the leader, closely allied with Mercury and Uranus, so there's shows us that two leaders that we have at the moment with our coalition government. But we have unpredictability because of Uranus, but we've also got a wounding going on here and a potential for healing, because Neptune is to do with healing, as is Chiron, the wounded healer. And the moon, being the public, is saying the people are feeling wounded, the people are feeling pain and suffering at this time. There's also a lot of anger at the moment and frustration. And this is shown in this chart with Mars. Here's Mars over here, opposite. See that strong red line going across the chart? Mars is Virgo, retrograde, and it's opposite Neptune, Moon, Chiron. So it's a very, very potent signature. Mars is retrograde and is going through the sign of Virgo for 8 months. It's already, it's sort of halfway through. It will move direct in April. And that's a good sign, because then things that have been on the back burner, been on hold, will then get a kick and they'll start to move forward. Mars holds the key for the whole chart because it's opposite Neptune, Moon, Chiron. It's also the planet Mars governs the sign of Aries. So it's very crucial. And in the 7th house of relationships, it's indicating that there's a lot of tension, there's frustration that's building up. And you can see this visually. Here's this big red cross. The cross is formed by Mars, Neptune, Moon, Chiron, with the north node of the moon, that's at the top of the chart, said node abbreviation here, in the sign of Sagittarius, and opposite is the south node of the moon in Gemini. The nodes of the moon are to do with eclipses. They're not planets, they're points in space, and they're the relationship of the sun, the moon, and the earth. They go through signs backwards, and they take 1.5 years approximately to travel through a sign, or 2 signs really, because you've got north and south. So now there's this tension, which is extreme, of the north node at 7 degrees of Sagittarius. I'm using the true node for astrologers, and it's at an exact right angle now. Mars is forming exact right angle, and Chiron is so close. So here we have what is known as a grand mutable cross. Mutability is very flexible. That's its good side. You know, we need flexibility in our physical bodies, of course, to move. But flexibility can also mean too much adjusting to whatever's going on around us. So we're indecisive as we're kind of blowing with whatever the wind is saying. Pisces is especially like that because it's so sensitive. It's the ocean. Pisces is governed by Neptune, the god of the ocean. So the moment this feelings are going around can erupt, I would say, because of that unpredictability of Uranus over here, so close to the sun. But also it does indicate that ideas can come from a place, often a place of chaos. That's indicated by Pisces. Just think of the ocean, think how powerful the sea is. You can't control the sea. No way. You know, people have tried, but there's no way they can do it. So Pisces means we have to go with the flow. We have to really allow feelings on a personal level to process our feelings and our emotions and be aware of anger, aware of irritation at others, because that's the problem. Because Mars is getting angsty, is the word. So the energy here is often also to do with the past. That's what the South Node indicates. It's governed, Gemini, by Mercury, which is retrograding. That means it's going backwards. It's going to go back from Aries into Pisces. So it's the messenger. So it's carrying messages backwards through the zodiac at the moment of what we want to start and what we need to finish, which is very much the sign of Pisces. And it is, as I said, to do with the past. So past communications, people from the past. Gemini often indicates it's the third house, naturally, and in this chart it's in the third house, neighbours and also relatives, like siblings. So sibling rivalry. Doesn't that sound a little bit like the two leaders we have at the moment in the UK? And also remember to move forward means to go towards the North Node. That's in Sagittarius. Now Sagittarius, the North Node in this chart, is in the 9th house. That's a very good place. That's where it belongs naturally. And that means having a vision for the future. It means making plans for the future. But looking up, literally looking up into the sky to see something bigger and the bigger picture rather than being caught in detail. And that's a lot of what this strong emphasis on Mercury signs is about in this chart. The other aspect, of course, to notice, the North Node in Sag, is that Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and we've just seen this beautiful energy of Jupiter and Venus coming together in the night sky. They're moving apart now, but also Venus is in her own sign of Taurus, about the physical, the sign of beauty, the sensuality. It's very earthy, Taurus, grounding. And it's also, Jupiter is forming still a grand trine in Earth with Pluto, to do with plutocracy, with power, and Mars. That gives us energy, very strong energy to manifest at this time. Although it's waning, it's moving away from exactitude. Mars will also, as it goes retrograde, will move back to form another trine with Pluto. We've seen the power of the people. Now we need to manifest things that we really believe in for each and every one of us, and to remember the beauty, remember the love, of course. Venus is all about love and relationships. Not forgetting Saturn over here. Saturn is retrograding. There's a lot of retrograding at the moment of planets, meaning going backwards, reforming, re-editing, re-evaluating. Anything beginning with RE is all to do with retrograde. It's in Libra, it's in Venus's sign, and it is forming a trine, a flow of energy to stabilise Neptune, Moon and Chiron, albeit it is moving away from that rather than towards it. The theme here is we are in the dark. The new moon is important this month. It comes just 2 days later. And that new moon will bring really the beginning, if you like. This is very much a strange chart in the sense of that dark moon and all the wounds and issues that are surfacing around this time. So take care of yourself, especially important of your health. Mars in Virgo is to do with health, with irritations in your nervous system, because Mercury governs Mars, it's in Aries, so to be aware of being clumsy, of moving too fast, especially when you're driving. I always say, caution people with Mars making any connection to Uranus is to be careful on the road. And I look forward to speaking with you very soon on another chart. Thank you. It's Pam Carruthers of Healing Stars.